Hi, my name is Levi Knight, Youth Programme Coordinator for the Mighty Creatives, and you're listening to the Mighty Voices podcast, where we discuss topics that concern young people and the role creativity has to play in these topics. So today we've got two very special guests. We've got
The Patience.
And we've got
Chantel York.
And so Chantel's part of one of our youth board members, wonderful youth board member, and B is our marketing comms manager at the Mighty Creatives. Welcome. It's nice to get you both on the podcast.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Thanks for having us.
It's a privilege for us, thank you. So what we normally do as an icebreaker, it's a case of what book are you reading, piece of art or anything like that that's had an impact on you in recent times. I can start this one off, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Levi.
I've just stumbled onto audiobooks. I'm listening to my first audiobook, and it's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And oh my word, I've just got through the introduction. I was listening to the introduction on the way to work, and it was a bit painful because some of the things that the poor dad was doing are kind of ingrained in me. Do you know what I mean? You know, like certain things where you're saying, the poor dad will say things like, I can't afford it, where the rich dad will say, how can we get that? Right. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes things will crop up. So I might say, I don't know, let's go to this festival. And my instant response is, I can't afford it. And what the book was saying was that's the lazy response to it. Do you get what I mean? It's a lazy response to using your brain and thinking, how can you get that? It's about asking the question rather than shutting it down with saying, I can't. And that really identified with me. I was like, wow. And I even told my kids there's no such thing as can't, but I don't tell myself that. So it was quite eye-opening, and I'm looking forward to getting on my break to listen to some more.
I love it. I think, you need to kind of teach yourself that as well. That you can.
100%. And it's more the question. We don't ask ourselves the question. So you may not be able to afford it at that moment in time, but how can you afford it?
And making a plan.
Yeah.
Being positive about
This is it. It all starts in the mind.
It's just reframing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Absolutely. It definitely is reframing it. And just, and another thing that, sorry, I'm going on, but because this book's, it's only the introduction that I've listened to.
No, it is a really good book.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Oh, Chantel's read it.
And then he talks about there's a difference between broke and poor. That broke can be fixed. Broke is only temporary. Poor is eternal. And I was like, oh my word. My friend Ebony used to say that to me. Shout outs to Ebony. He used to always say to me, listen, anything broke can be fixed. And it's always stuck with me. So yeah, that's my piece of art that's had an impact on me. What about you, Chantel?
I think I'm gonna go a bit different. I'm gonna go with a quote, which I discovered a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's very relevant because it can be applied to like all aspects of our lives, and it's really, really simple, and it seems like common sense, but it's just action relieves anxiety.
Okay.
So it seems really simple. Like you think, that makes sense, but it's just when you're faced with a challenge, or maybe you're working on a project, or just some situation in your life, and you're just sort of stuck, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to turn, and you're just feeling overwhelmed with it and anxious, just take some action. So, you don't need to know exactly what you're going to do, just take that next step and actually just do something, and that will relieve all of that anxiety because you can't fear something that you're actively working on.
I think that's amazing and so true. Like, it's light bulb moments this morning. That's so true, because I think a lot of the time, for me personally, when I'm anxious, I get paralyzed with anxiety. It's because I'm inactive. Do you know what I mean? So it might be a case of I don't really know what I'm supposed to do, or I need to start somewhere and I'm putting it off. And that inaction creates my own anxiety. So
analysis paralysis. But it's just, you just need to take that raw action.
For one step.
And then it's momentum, isn't it? Then once you start.
Yeah.
So whenever, like the past few weeks, just when I've been like faced with a challenge, I've been like, just know, action relieves anxiety, and then bang, move next step.
Action relieves anxiety.
My words of wisdom.
Writing it down.
That sounds like a tattoo. Action relieves anxiety. Thank you for that, Chantel. Thank you. Everything happens for a reason, I suppose. It's all meant to be. B, have you got anything?
Oh, loads of things, but I think I'm going to talk about a Facebook page, and it's called Pet Portraits by Hercule. I don't know if anybody's seen it. I think it started in COVID with just this one guy, and he would sort of take commissions for pet portraits. So people would submit a picture of their, normally dog, but sometimes cats and horses and things like that. And he would draw sort of these really exaggerated portraits of these pets. And they're almost so bad that they're good. There is definitely a real beautiful artistic element to them. And he does it to fundraise for a couple of charities. And it's just really wholesome, kind of a really wholesome, lovely use of social media.
100%.
So, yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I love those kind of things. I saw something on Twitter the other day, X, with a guy, he lives in Thailand, and he feeds like 20 stray dogs every morning. Oh. There's one dog, he's named it Snickers. So he's named the dogs Snickers, Rolo, Milky Way, and Mars Bar. So he's named them all different chocolates.
That's cute.
But Snickers every morning will come with a gift. So random gifts. It might be a water bottle, a shoe, sticks. But what was amazing about it, it's not just that he goes and feeds the dog and the love that the dog's showing him. It's the fact that the dog's got an awareness for human items. So the dog brings the guy human items like shoes, toys, things that it's got an awareness to know what humans interact with. It's not like it's proper junk. Well, it is junk, but human junk. I'm twisting my words now, but I love those kind of things. It's wholesome, and I think when you can do something with an animal, I'm biased like that. Like, I think I prefer animals to people.
I think I'm the same sometimes, yeah.
Maybe it's because they don't talk. Like, take that however you want.
I don't know what that says about you.
No,
it's unconditional, that relationship. Yeah. I mean, we better not get onto dogs, because otherwise...
Based on intuition.
I won't shut up. But.
Well, I was saying that dogs, I think, are one of the most intelligent animals in terms of awareness. Do you get what I mean?
Intuitive.
Yeah, awareness.
And also think of service dogs and stuff, how, they can detect...
they're incredible.
If people are, have diabetes and they're, things like that. It's just so...
This is it. Man's best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Sorry, I'm digressing right now. We should be talking about something else. But one last thing about animals. I read something about pigeons. You know the reason pigeons are how they are is because humans have domesticated them. Yeah. What they were, pigeons were used as like carrier pigeons and things like that for, when we didn't, for mail and things like that. So humans had loads of pigeons, and then when they didn't need them anymore, they just left them. Yeah. So what it is, they aren't able to support themselves because they've been domesticated. I thought that was so interesting. I feel sorry for them now.
I must have read the same little article as you, because I read that the other day as well, and I thought, bless them.
I know, they're not rats with wings now.
They're crazy. They do proper pigeon racing and everything.
Yeah.
They fly at like 60 miles an hour, like in a straight line, like for hundreds of miles.
So there's another intelligent animal.
It's proper racing. It's a whole competitive sport.
So now it's like pigeon is also man's best friend. And when I say man, I don't mean men, women. I mean man as in mankind.
Yeah. Humans.
Humankind.
So today's topic on the Mighty Voices podcast is all about World Kindness Day / Social Media Kindness Day / navigating social media. There's a lot of forward slashes there, but we're trying to cover a few things because I think it's quite important that we have these moments. And I'm going to read something that I've taken from worldkindnessday.org. So World Kindness Day, celebrated each November, serves as a powerful reminder of our universal ability to exhibit passion and goodwill towards each other. The origins of World Kindness Day trace back to the establishment of the World Kindness Movement in 1998. The movement sought to make kindness a common thread linking all nations, transcending political, religious, and geographical divides. This special day is dedicated to showcasing acts of kindness and the deeply transformative impact they can have on individuals and communities alike. By focusing on positive, altruistic behaviours, World Kindness Day encourages us all to contribute to a kinder, more caring world. It invites people from all walks of life to participate in kindness, whether small gestures or large philanthropic activities. As we celebrate this important day, we are reminded of the essential role that kindness plays in fostering healthy, supportive communities. It is a day to reflect on our actions and strive to be more empathetic and generous in our daily interactions. it's felt engaging in acts of kindness not only benefits the recipients, but also enriches the giver, creating a cycle of positivity that can uplift entire communities. Let us embrace the spirit of this day by extending kindness to those around us, reinforcing the bonds of humanity that connect us all. For more information, go to www.worldkindness.org. I think that's amazing. I think the whole concept between World Kindness Day is important because I think, especially after the pandemic, we realized it was important to be kind to ourselves and kind to one another. Do you know what I mean? I felt there were so many community activities in terms of kindness. The area we lived, they were like, you get little stones that are smooth.
Yeah.
People were painting stones, and there was a massive trail like where people walk their dogs. So everyone would design a stone and put it down. And I think small things like that, they make you feel like a part of a community. And I think it is an act of kindness. Am I barking up the right tree?
I definitely think so. I think during COVID, there was a sense of loss of community, but also like a new kind of creation of community where, like you say, with the pebbles, the stones being painted and going out on walks, because people did that a lot, didn't they, during lockdowns and stuff. And also I guess like community moving from offline to online as well, and there sort of being people communicating on Facebook community groups for their area and things like that. So
definitely. And I think that's because obviously the topic today is navigating social media, and I think the pandemic, I'm going back to that, it was a massive wake-up call in terms of how do we navigate on social media, online generally. Like, there's a lot of people that have never really had to navigate online. Like, for example, my mum's generation, my mum would not know how to go on Teams. But fortunately, you've got technology like smartphones, you've got FaceTiming and things like that. So, yeah. Have you got any thoughts on that, Chantal?
Yeah, I think it is just about those little moments, isn't it, of positivity in a community, like those pebbles that people have gone and they've made an effort, and then sort of other people have probably jumped on the bandwagon, and then it's just spiraled into more. And I think that is just that ripple effect with it. But I think also, like you were saying, be about the online like community groups for, like, we have one for our village, and you do see a lot of doom and gloom on there. Like, obviously that's natural, people are complaining about litter or these people or causing trouble or something, but also you do see a lot of positivity, and it's uplifting to see that in a community
100%.
space online. And I think it's important that people probably share more of that.
Absolutely.
And make the effort to try and do something a bit nicer.
Yeah, and I think it's an icebreaker, like gestures of kindness and manners. I think manners are part of kindness, because I think whenever someone says please or thank you to me, I want to do more. And it gives you a nice feeling. We spoke about dopamine on a previous podcast, and it's acts of giving and gestures of kindness. They give you that internal satisfaction, which is induced by dopamine. So I think it's a really good initiative to have a World Kindness Day. I really do. Do you think creativity can play a role in World Kindness Day?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Because it's all about being creative, isn't it? It's, going back to those pebbles, that was an act of creativity, or just being creative in how you can be kind to somebody else. So, maybe you could, say hello to them, or just, smile, or
absolutely
just give something to them in a way that, you didn't have to do, maybe.
Yep.
You went out of your way to do it. Like, I picked you this up because I know that you wanted it, or something like that. Or not that you wanted it, but you'd appreciate
100%
it. So I think it's being creative and not just thinking about the typical ways that you can be kind.
And I think that opens creativity up a little bit more. Then it's like creativity is kind of the driver for navigating the unseen. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, for example, with gestures of kindness, how can you be kind? What ways can you be kind to someone? How can you be a kinder person? There's problem solving there. It's a way of navigating something that's unknown or unseen. And I think creativity plays a massive role in that, because then your brain ticks and it goes down to thinking, ooh, what would they like? yeah, I think they would like that. Let's paint some pebbles. I think that'd be really good. It get the kids involved. They'll enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a creative way of navigating something unknown and bringing people together, because it's not necessarily the skill of being able to paint the pebble. It's about the journey that skill takes you on. So you don't have to be the greatest. It's all about the action relieves anxiety. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. You got any thoughts, B?
Yeah, I think it's even in those small moments of kindness. So, you know, you write a nice little note to a friend or someone you know who might be going through a difficult time, and you doodle a little picture. And I think just something like that can just have such a big impact on somebody who just needs to know that there's someone there for them as well. So, yeah, I think it's in those small moments too.
Absolutely. Yeah, nice. So then also on November the 9th, we've got World Social Media Kindness Day. So I'm going to read a little bit that I took from the socialmediakindnessday.com website. So Social Media Kindness Day was set up by Maya Riaz in 2020. So this was in response to the death of Caroline Flack. So let me read what I've got. Social media is increasingly playing a large part in our daily lives. We're the first generation of social media users. Essentially, we're guinea pigs. We need to make it a kinder place as opposed to it being somewhere anger and hate breeds. Every time we use social media, we leave an imprint. Social Media Kindness Day is encouraging for all those imprints to be kind. Most people would never make the nasty remarks they do on social media to a person's face. This is because they would be able to see the hurt and upset caused by those words. On social media, the ability to see that reaction is taken away. You never know how someone would react to the nasty messages they receive on social media. It is for this reason that Social Media Kindness Day was created. It is also in memory of the late TV presenter Caroline Flack, being held on what would have been her birthday, 9th of November. It is through her message of being kind that this day is connected to her. We are wanting it to be a movement, not just for a day, but for generations to come, where unkindness isn't tolerated. Social media should be a place where people can socialize, network, or do business and live their best life without fear of negativity. We are asking you to pledge to play your part in making social media a kinder place for all. This means if you see unkindness on social media, you kindly point it out rather than scroll on by and let it magnify. Then to check up on the person receiving the unkindness to make sure they're okay. For more information, go to socialmediakindnessday.com. I think that's very important right now, Social Media Kindness Day. I think they're both linked, but I think for me personally, I've got young children. I've got a young daughter that's coming into the social media online world. She's just got Snapchat. So I think there's more of a need for young people to understand navigating social media, the negatives and the positives, because there are both negatives and positives, and unfortunately on social media it's like the negatives kind of magnify. It's like if someone says 100 things nice about you and you hear 3 things not very nice about you, you focus on the 3 things that aren't very nice about you. So I think it's really important that we there's more of an effort to be kinder online. There's no need to not be kind online. And I think they make a valid point where maybe people are more readily unkind online because they don't see the reaction that has on the person that's taken away. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah. Have you guys got any thoughts on it?
I suppose that's like the whole keyboard warrior thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, people say things online. You wouldn't say that to somebody else's face.
100%.
You know,
100%.
And I think a lot of time people don't realise the implications that actually it's not just words on a screen. There is another person behind what you're saying.
Absolutely.
So it's being aware of that. But it's crazy. Like, I'm 23 now, and I feel like my generation, we kind of had a little bit of time that wasn't on social media, and then the later years, like when I was like 14, it's like that's when social media started really kicking in.
Yeah.
But to be, you know, in one of these children or young people who's raised completely with just social media being so active, and just it's crazy how it's changed, because before it used to just be you just post things and it was like with your friends, and you just post anything and everyone's just like, oh cool, you know, tag me, and it was completely different. But now it is just more attacking. I feel like it's just the general vibe of social media. So I try to stay away from it a bit more personally.
And I think it's kind of like the curse of social media. So as much as it's evolved and expanded over time, so like you saying at first you could maybe just share pictures, or it wasn't even pictures, it was just a status on Facebook, and then it's progressed to like people can practically say what they want. Like for example, like on X or Twitter, it doesn't seem like there's any kind of boundaries or regulations to what people can post, to get what I mean. So I think it's kind of managing that, and I think because it's such a vast ocean, you kind of have to manage that individually.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well, isn't it? It's just the volume of content that is out there. Like it's not just one or two posts. Like if something goes, it goes huge.
100%.
So fast, and that's the same. Yes, with positive messages, but also with negativity.
Everyone's looking for that viral moment. You can't even use
I can remember being a teenager. In my day, it was MySpace was the first. And there was also Bebo, so you typically you were one or the other.
If I tell you what the first one was for me, I'll show you how old I really am. MSN.
Oh, well, yeah, MSN. You come home from school and you'd log on to MSN and you'd have a song lyric in your kind of screen name, wouldn't you? And you just would spend hours all evening just talking to friends who you'd seen at school. But I think, so there was MySpace, then it kind of evolved into Facebook. But I think even in those days, at that time, I remember MySpace had your sort of top 8, so your top 8 friends, and just the kind of the impact that can have on somebody when you get dropped from somebody's top 8 friends is just, it could be quite devastating for somebody. I think, there's a lot. I mean, I remember writing an article at university about toddlers swiping pictures at bus stops because they just thought that they would be touchscreen because that's what they've, that's what they're so used to now. So I think there's a balance between kind of understanding and embracing that it is part, especially of young people's lives. But also, there's kind of a lot of things to be aware of and a lot of things to,
Definitely.
I think there have been cases of people, young people using social media as a way to self-harm themselves, so sending themselves nasty messages, and that is a form of self-harm. And I think, it's just important to...
You make a very valid point there, because it goes down to like the online communities and forums and things like Reddit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when you talk about self-harming, there's like Reddit forums where it's like echo chambers of all people that have challenges with self-harming. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like there's a thin line where where it's helpful, and then it becomes like, I don't know, it's encouraging. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's encouraging that action. There's no real resolution. People are there sharing information on what they're doing. I remember a few years ago where there was a bridge in America where it was called Suicide Bridge or something like that, where people were posting online that they were going there and they were jumping off the bridge. And I just think, you got to be careful with these communities and forums. But like I said, who polices it? It's a case of having to police it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think the companies, the social media companies, they have a duty of care to kind of make sure that if there's potentially upsetting content, that it's censored, or there's a warning or something like that for these kind of things, because I suppose it can be quite triggering for people, especially young people. But I do think, in terms of social media, I think young people, they need to have the opportunity to learn how to navigate kind of the online world and social media safely. Otherwise, they won't be able to. So it very much, I think, is a balance, and I think it's about supporting young people to know how to fact check things that they're seeing and sort of critically analyse what they might be seeing or viewing, and being aware of kind of some of the, I guess, public figures that might be out there. I don't know. Mention names, but
no, definitely
Andrew Tate, for example, and being able to just develop those kind of critical thinking skills.
But that leads me on to what I was just going to pose a question. Do you think that with times now, how they've evolved and a lot of our time is spent online. Do you think that this needs to be something included in schools and education? How to navigate it? Because I remember when Andrew Tate was doing what he was doing, my daughter's high school, they had like an assembly, they had police come into school and there was a discussion on the things that he was saying and it created dialogue. Do you think, I don't know, I'm just playing devil's advocate right now, do you think there needs to be something like, they have PSHE now, is it a case of having like navigating social media, learning there, because it's a large part of their lives. Like it's not like when we were younger to where only a few people had computers and had access to the internet and you weren't allowed on it all night because it was in the phone line.
Yeah, you either use the
modem.
phone or you use the computer.
Do you know what I mean? There was no broadband then, or it was all cable connection. So you wasn't on it as much, whereas now you've got it in the palm of your hand now.
24/7. There's no
24/7.
Really.
24/7.
And I think going back to kind of kindness, you know, if someone, for example, if a young person's being bullied by someone at school, you know, you could almost leave that at the school gates, but now you come home, it kind of doesn't matter where you are, there's no escaping from it. And I think when things are written in black and white, or, you know, it's so permanent.
Yeah. And online, things that once you put something online, I'm going to touch on this a bit more later, but it's there forever. Mm-hmm. Even if it's deleted, someone could have screenshotted it, screen recorded, whatever it is, it's not necessarily gone. So it's kind of like what you put there, you're leaving for a lifetime. Do you know what I mean? So, so I've got a few things from the Young Minds website where I want to speak on how creativity has a role to play when navigating social media. And Young Minds have given a few tips, some good tips I might add, with for young people navigating social media. So we've got number 1, clean your feed. It's not always easy to tell why you're feeling down when you're online. Take some time to go through your social media feed to work out what's making you feel good and what's not. And I think that's key. I've done a few of these things myself. So they've got things like unfollow or mute accounts. I've unfollowed a few accounts in my time because it's not necessarily they were making me feel down. I was just irritated with the things I was seeing because I didn't really agree with what they were saying. But then it goes down to you don't have to agree with everything people are saying. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to follow people. If something doesn't agree with you, mute it or unfollow.
And actually, sorry to interrupt, but change doesn't happen. You know, it's no good shutting people down. It only, you know, change can only happen, and views can only be kind of challenged by having those conversations as well.
That's true.
You know, I think sometimes you kind of find that everybody on your social media or with your friends and followers and things like that, their views align with your own because that's who you surround yourself with. So sometimes, you know, you need to challenge other people's views and have access to them.
Absolutely. I like that. And then also they've got delete social media apps. So remember, you don't have to be on every social media channel. Try deleting one app from your phone for a week and see what happens. And I know we experienced this at the Mighty Creatives. Do you want to talk on that, B?
Yeah, so we recently, within the last sort of couple of months, we made the decision to leave what was previously known as Twitter and now as X. We didn't feel that some of the discourse and the content on there aligned to our values as a charity. So we made the decision to deactivate our Twitter account, X account.
Yeah.
Everyone still calls it Twitter.
Yeah, well.
This is it. But I think it's important that where you can make a stand, I think as a company, TMC, I think where we are and the things that we're concerned with and our aims, I think X has gone an opposite direction. You know, the things that they allow and some of the views are very, and I get what you're saying about challenging some views, but some views are so warped and there's no, when I say there's no policing, I think of X. If I'm being honest with you, I think I see so much on X that I think, wow, it's like the new Tumblr. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like Tumblr, you could put anything on Tumblr.
I remember Tumblr. Do you, Chantel? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, deleting social media apps. Limit your time online. I think that's a good one as well. So try limiting your time on social media before you go to sleep and when you first wake up. I think that's really key. And you've got things on apps, on phones now that can tell you about screen time, how much screen time you've had, what apps you've been on and things like that. Think before you post. Before you post or comment, ask yourself, am I doing something positive for myself and the people who will see this? I think that's very important. And I think that's one of the probably biggest battles for young people and being online. Because I think it's very in the moment being a young person. I speak for myself. When I was younger, it was very in the moment, and it's like plumage. Like you're trying to show off and be the big person, and it's like you don't necessarily feel like that. It's kind of like trying to gain traction. So you should always think before you post. And I was saying before we had this, we started the podcast, I was fortunate social media wasn't about in my teens. Social media wasn't about like until when I was at university. So I'm not even going to say how old I was. But when I got to university, social media started coming. Facebook was the first one. And I think if social media was about when I was younger, we wouldn't have been afforded the space and the time to make errors and get over the error. And then the final one they've got is use the emoji scale. So on the Young Minds website, they've got an emoji scale where it's use our emoji scale to work out how stuff in your social media feed is making you feel. So it's kind of like a check-in sheet with different faces, and you can check in with yourself to see how an app makes you feel, which I think is quite important.
That's a great little tool.
Yeah, so that's on the youngminds.org.uk website. Also, they mentioned find your crowd. So whatever your passions are in life, you're not alone. There are accounts out there that will interest and excite you and help you explore your passions. Being part of a positive online community can boost your mental health. Here are some tips to help discover yours. So we've got explore and discover. See which accounts people you enjoy following follow themselves, and explore the hashtags they use to discover more stuff like it. Don't forget to shout out positive people by liking, commenting and sharing their posts. The next one they've got is positive content. Follow accounts that make you feel good, keep you interested and share positive content. For example, at Young Minds UK. Build your feed, build your own positive following, as well as following positive people. Did you know that you can select who follows you and what they see? Interesting, I never knew that. And they've got another one, you are not alone. You are not alone, whatever your passion is. There will be other people online who share it. Find like-minded online communities and use social media to fuel your passions. I think that's important. We are on a few episodes ago, we had a young person, Hannah, from the youth board. And she is amazing. The things that she was sharing with us, like the different profiles and websites and different things, she's actually like a beacon for young people.
Oh, 100%. We're really excited because we're working with
brilliant.
Hannah to help make our social media at TMC a space where young people can have their voice heard in a really creative way. So, yeah, there's lots of exciting things.
She's the perfect person, because I thought of that. As soon as I read that, I was like, yeah. And then also we've got be aware. It's important to remember that while many online mental health communities are positive spaces, some can be negative for you and your recovery. Avoid any spaces that encourage you to do things which are harmful for your physical or mental health. If you're struggling with things you'll experience online, talk to someone you trust. And I think that's kind of like adds on to what we were speaking about earlier on about the communities that people can be involved in. And then the final one is, I like this one. I think this ties in well with World Kindness Day and Social Media Kindness Day. Say hey. You never know what someone else is going through, and whether you realize it or not, your support could make all the difference. Social media is a great place to let your friends know you haven't forgotten them, that you care about them, and that they matter. And getting involved in making the online world a more positive place to be could give you a boost too. I think that there is probably, for me, number one. Just generally, whether you're online or in everyday life, you never know what someone's going through, and sometimes just a hello or a you're right can mean the most to somebody. You might make somebody's day. Have you lot got any thoughts on that?
I think for me, what stands out is the section about like being aware. what are you consuming and whether that is positive or negative. Because I feel like for young people, especially, there's this FOMO, isn't there? Fear of missing out all the time. It's like, you know, you want to be involved in that, but also if it's not good for you and you can feel that. And I think that's something that people need to trust a bit more, is their intuition. Like, you know when something isn't good for you, and you can feel that resistance there, even if you're not quite ready to unfollow somebody, or like, you know, maybe it's somebody you know even in real life who just has a negative impact on you whenever you see their content. And I think that's really important to recognise that, and also realise that actually social media isn't real necessarily. Yeah. It's you know, it's all the best pictures and all of the best highlights, but like you say, you never know what's going on in someone's life. So they could be posting that and actually not be having a great time. So don't try and live up to what you're seeing somebody else do or post.
And adding on to what you're saying, people only post the highlights.
Yeah.
No one really posts when they don't feel the greatest or rubbish. They might not post at all, but when you see the post, it's all highlights.
And that's where all the comparison comes in, doesn't it? Especially for young people. Even if it's people that they don't know directly, they're seeing images of, you know, sort of photoshopped bodies and, you know, hair that looks amazing and noses that look amazing. And I think, you know, for your own kind of self-confidence, self-esteem, body image, I think there is a shift where you're seeing more sort of like micro-influencers on social media, sharing kind of, this is actually what I look like. So this is what I look like in the gym when I pose, and actually this is what a real body looks like when I'm bent down picking up a weight. I think it's really, it's really crucial that young people see all of those sides.
Absolutely.
But I totally agree that my bio on Instagram actually says this isn't real life, because it's not. It's just pictures of my dog. And
I think it's that authenticity, isn't it? Of you know, you've got to be, you know, there's some people glamorize their life on social media, and that's just the nature of it. But I think I'm seeing in my like social media feeds people who are a bit more natural, and like this is a whole other subtopic, but just how content has been, it's now so produced, like there's so many cuts and edits to keep up retention and, you know, capture the attention span of young people who are, you know, you're trying to engage their brain and keep them hooked on the content to make it addictive. But, you know, seeing actually another side of that where people now are literally just filming videos on their phone, like 13 minutes long, no cuts, no editing, they're sat in the car, the lighting's dodgy. And it's just a completely different side of it, but it's so refreshing to actually see those different types of creators.
I think
they are going to be coming up actually in the next few years. I anticipate there's going to be a bit of a switch because people are realising
you make a very valuable
the machine
point
that social media has become.
Absolutely, very valuable point. Because you know what it is? It's like that's what you're saying. People have forgotten the cameras there. Like they think they're actually watching somebody's life, not knowing that there's a camera set up. There's probably a tripod and whatnot. Like, I was watching something on TV the other day. I'm not going to say it because they don't pay us for sponsorship. But it was about a guy training a dog. And they had like cut scenes in between him talking to the owners. But the dog was stealing food from people's picnics in the park. But the camera was brilliantly positioned on the picnic blanket of the alleged strangers. Do you know what I mean? But people don't realise those things. It's like wrestling back in the day. Like people didn't realize it was make believe.
Like
so I think
YouTube
you're right.
videos nowadays, they have like a Hollywood level production.
Yeah.
You know, and the amount of budget and camera cuts and editing and post production to manufacture these videos that, you know, people are perceiving, and especially young people, I think, who don't have the awareness to realize that these are scripted and, you know, they're portraying a certain message for a certain reason, whether that's, you know, to watch more content or for sponsorships or anything really that they're trying to promote. But I think it's important to realise.
I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate. So would you say monetization might have hindered social media in terms of content? Because a lot of the time people want the retention and the views because they monetize these videos. Do you know what I mean? Some people earn living. A lot of young people you speak to that I speak to when I'm working in youth work, they want to be YouTubers.
streamers or
streamers and
gamers
YouTubers. Everybody wants to do that now. Do you know what I mean? To where it's like, it's even going in another direction there, where people, I'd have to go around my friend's house to play on his Mega Drive, or they'd come play on my place. Do you get what I mean? Whereas now, you don't have to go anywhere. You're online. Games don't even come as 2-player, like with 2 controls. It's online multiplayer.
And it's a subscription as well. You don't even get a physical game anymore. It's a download.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a whole other podcast and conspiracy theory
No, do you know?
of subscription models. But
Do you know what I mean? So it's like the monetization of social media is probably having an influence on the content that we get.
I think it's taken, obviously it's social media. I think at the start it was social media, but now it's probably gone social, and media is now the highlight of it.
Yeah.
So I think at the start it was bringing people together. It was a community. You just post a picture of, you know, you had the bad Instagram filters where you just post a picture of like a half-eaten sandwich and you're like, oh, lunch.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, and that was just social.
You're so right.
But then now I feel like over the years it's media. It's all about production. It's all about having the best lighting and ring lights and audio and
we're going down the rabbit hole right now, but you're right, because it's moved away from, I remember posting pictures of my banana one time and that would
be a hit.
Do you know what I mean?
Genuinely.
Whereas now, people don't use social media for that reason anymore. It's not for that reason anymore. It's business now. So a lot of the time, young people might not be in business, but they're following people that are using it as a business tool. Do you know what I mean?
Selling them stuff.
Do you know what I mean? It's marketing and promotion.
Yeah,
and
even if it's an idea and not a product. Sometimes it's a product. And even I work in marketing, and sometimes I find myself going, oh, that looks good. And then I have to go, no, brain, engage brain B.
And this is, I think that's key to mention as well. We're all susceptible in one way. Where I might avoid it in one way, I'm caught in another. So, for example, I might not be scrolling the same pages on Facebook or YouTube as you, but I'm caught on YouTube watching TalkSport. Do you know what I mean? So they've got me there, and I might think, oh no, but this content isn't the same as the content you watch, but it's still got me gripped. Do you know what I mean? I've got my own doom scrolling itinerary.
It's addictive, isn't it? By nature, they've designed it, and I think that's the thing to remember. It's manufactured. It's a machine that they want you to carry on scrolling. They want you to follow. They want you to like. They don't want you to leave their platform because they're making money out of you.
So it comes down difficult. To So then it comes back to these. We're going very deeper. Could be a new different podcast episode, but we're going back to where we was talking about who regulates the content, and then you mentioned that the organizations, but they're never going to do that. Well, they might do that, but it doesn't feel like they will, because they're cutting off a lot of their monetization, really, because it's those posts that go viral and get all the attention. Like there's a guy, I'm not going to say his name either, he's an Arsenal fan, but he's always slating Arsenal, always slating Saka. And it's like, why are you doing this? But he gets reposted all day long. He gets liked,
it's provocative,
reposted.
So
that's exactly it.
You know, it gets attention, doesn't it?
That's exactly it. I had another thing I wanted to speak about was some more information. For more information on navigating social media and things like that, there's a good site, www.youngminds.org.uk. They've got so much information, and they talk about things like understanding social media feed, tips for having more positive time online, top tech tips and advice from an O2 guru. And I think this is important. So I just wanted to touch on some of the things that this guru said. So they mentioned things like managing your time. So apps like Facebook, Instagram and YouTube make it easy to track your time online, whether you're using an iOS or an Android. So for Facebook, go to more, settings and privacy, and then your time on Facebook. And on Instagram, go to your account, more, settings and your activity, and you'll be able to see your time that you spend on these applications. You can also set daily reminders telling you how long you've been using an app. On Facebook, for example, you go to your time on Facebook, set daily reminder, then set your ideal usage. Apps like Hold are handy. I've never heard of Hold before, so you lot might know a bit more than me. Apps like Hold are handy, especially if you're trying to focus on studying. Hold rewards you for putting your phone down. You get pocket points, which you can exchange for coffee vouchers and cinema tickets.
Ooh.
I think I might need to download Hold. But I won't go through all of these, but if you visit the youngminds.org.uk website, you'll find a lot of information that can give you tips on how to navigate social media. I think we're coming to the end of, I think it's been a great episode, to be fair. I think we've got some really useful information and tips for young people, and not even just young people, anybody navigating social media. So yeah, if you get the chance, please show a gesture of kindness. Do something kind today. Get involved and be nice on social media as well, for Social Media Kindness Day on the 9th of November and World Kindness Day on the 13th of November. I think they're really great initiatives to get involved with, and you'll feel so much better by doing an act of kindness. You can always PayPal me something if you like, if you're looking for ideas. Message me and we can talk about the financial details, do you know what I mean? But yeah, thank you very much, B. Thank you very much, Chantel. Ooh, before we leave, actually, I want to ask you two questions. First question is, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? We'll start with you, B.
Oh, gosh. Okay. If I could give my younger self one piece of advice, it would be to keep writing.
Nice.
Gonna write that novel one day. Gonna finish it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Because normally it's all like trying to change time, but
Yeah.
I like that. What about you, Chantal?
See, I've had time to think and I've still not.
It's hard. I was thinking,
it's
don't
really
come at me
hard.
first.
It's really hard.
I don't even remember who young me was.
So long ago.
I know.
For me, not you, B.
No, and me.
Yeah, I'm not trying to offend or anything. Yeah. Shut up, Levi.
I'll probably try and keep on the social media theme and just say, stick to what you actually enjoy. Don't worry about missing out on unfollowing a certain page or, not being a part of a certain group. Just don't worry about it, because actually, years down the line, you probably won't remember anyway what you were worried about. So, just don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love that. Yeah.
Don't sweat the small stuff. You're
It
full of
won't
quotes
matter.
today, man. Don't sweat the small stuff. Let me write that down quick. Sweat the small stuff. I don't know. I have to do this all the time, but I think I like what you said you started with. I'm going to steal that. I think I tell my young person, well, the young version of me is action relieves anxiety.
Oh, that's a good quote, that.
Take that first step.
Excellent quote.
It really is. Take the
You brought
first
that
step,
one
man. Because you know what it is? A lot of the time, we build something up in our mind. Before, for example, I've started jogging again. I tell everyone who listens that I've been jogging again.
Oh, I've heard this.
I keep going on about it. I apologize, but I'm so proud. But before I started jogging, I was battling my mind for weeks saying, I'm going to go jogging. Then the morning would come and I'm like, no, I can't do it. My ankle, my body, my this, my that. But once you make that first step, it opens your mind. It's not just the jogging. It's like you have a whole different outlook on life. You think, you know what? I can actually do this. And I think once you take that first step, that belief and awareness comes. I've waffled on through that. But yeah, that's what I do. And then my second question for you guys is, do you have an eco confession? We've been giving the past few episodes, Samantha came up with the idea of eco confessions. And I think it's amazing. But I can't give too many away because then I look like I'm really, really not for the environment, and I am. So I wanted to ask, have you guys got any eco confessions that you're willing to share?
I've got
go
one.
first, B?
I've got one. Give you time to think, Chantel.
Thank you.
I try really hard. I do think I'm quite conscious, but I am quite bad for buying things in packaging rather than the loose fruit or vegetables. I am quite bad for that. But I think that's the kind of, I don't like the thought of germs on it. So,
No,
I need to be better. I need to,
Don't be so harsh on yourself, to be fair, because it's all conditioning, innit? What are you saying, Chantel? I see your brain ticking. Are you the perfect, are you the eco warrior, yeah? Of the youth board?
Well, I was an eco warrior in secondary school.
Okay.
were you?
Yeah, I was.
Love that.
My claim to fame.
Wow. Interesting fact about Chantel, eco warrior in school. I like that.
Put it on my CV.
Spotlight.
My eco confession then is probably just that I'm more likely to just throw something away than deal with it, which, you know, people are like, oh, recycle it or keep it or to the charity shop. Sometimes I'm just like, no, I'm done. I'm just going to get rid of it. It's going to go in the bin and that's it. And because I just don't want to deal with it.
I hear that.
Which is, I do pass some things on.
This is a safe space.
Yeah, I feel that.
I do as well.
And I just get a skip.
Yeah.
And it's all
But you know
out
what?
of my hands.
Now you've said it, you're aware of it, so now you'll probably be doing car boots. Well, car boot season's over now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I sold some trainers on the car boot and I couldn't believe how much I got.
My mum is a big car boot fan.
Oh, really?
She tries to encourage me to go, but I'm just like,
Yeah, car boots are...
6 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah, it is
to
quite
go
early.
walk around a field.
Yeah, I don't go. I give it to the kids and the missus. I let them take
It's
the
fun
stuff
when
that I
you're a
wanna
kid, though, I
sell.
suppose.
Yeah. But I think they're a really good idea, to be fair. Because you know what
They
it
are
is? You're
good.
going to get some money for something that you was going to just throw away.
I know, but you've got all the online things now, like, you know, where you can flog it online instead of going to the car boot.
You know what I mean? Car boot's going to die like the high street. Man, car boot.
Let's not end this
We got-
episode on doom and
We've got to
gloom.
save the car boots. Save the car boots.
Save the car boot.
But have I got an eco confession? I don't think I have. I think I'm absolutely tip top. No, to be fair, you know what it is? I drive my car a lot. I drive when I could walk.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's I've got two then. Yeah.
Like I drive when I could
Makes
walk.
you lazy, doesn't it?
And to be fair, I walked to the shop the other day and it was quite refreshing. I took my two youngest kids with me as well, and it was a giggle. It was actually quite nice. So make that first step. So yeah, that's my eco confession. Sorry, I did say 2 questions, but I've actually got 3 questions. Seeing as it's social media and we're talking, it's all within topic. I wanted to ask, do you guys remember what your first mobile phone was?
Yeah, I do. Mine was I've got a picture here. Mine was a Philips. So
I remember them ones. They was BT Cellnet, weren't they?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it does say that, but I can't remember what network it was on. But essentially, like calculator screen, so not colour or anything like that. You could only text very short messages because you'd run out. Otherwise,
Texting wasn't even available for me when I got a phone because Pay As You Go didn't have the same attributes as Pay Monthly. So
okay.
the network I was on just didn't have it. They didn't have the ability to. I was on 1-to-1. Wow.
I remember everyone in my family had the exact same one. We all had one, and I think I'd have been about 11, sort of year 7 age.
Wow. I had a Siemens C11. Look at that monster.
So yeah, similar to what I had.
Absolute monster of a phone. No one ever rang me on it either. I was so young. I hardly ever had credits.
I was saying the other day in a team meeting that I used to use it to vote for David Snedden on Fame Academy. Everyone remembers that shit.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Chantal, what phone did you have? Your phones would have probably been way more updated than ours.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right. Don't worry. I'm here now.
No, my first phone, it was like a pretty similar to an old BlackBerry,
Okay.
but it was a Samsung.
Right.
It had a physical keyboard, like a really low quality camera. You could play little games on it.
This is it. I didn't even have a camera on my phone. I had to get like an accessory to put in like the USB port. Well, it wasn't even USB. It was like pins. So you just have to put it in, make sure the pins didn't bend. And it was like an external camera that was just awful.
Yeah, that one definitely didn't have a camera.
Terrible.
There's something nostalgic though about the old quality, bad quality photos from an old camera or an old phone.
I agree actually.
It's just so
100%.
just makes you feel good seeing those photos. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like,
if you went out, you'd take a digital camera with you. When I was like 18,
right.
you didn't. Yeah,
Full on flash and
yeah,
everything.
you took a digital camera.
Yeah, you did. It was a proper camera, yeah.
Did you, Levi?
Yeah, it was a proper camera. Like, I used to have them Kodak disposable ones. You could just,
Oh yeah.
wow. Do people even have cameras anymore?
Well, I'm
with
sure.
filming.
I think vloggers do now.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
But you know what it is? It goes around in circles, don't it? It's like fashion. So they'll come back round because we shot a video a couple of weeks ago for one of the songs that me and my guy did. And the guy had an analog video camera. Do you know what I mean? So it was like tape. And what is it, 35 mil or something? I'm not technical like that. But it was really good. It was like a video handycam.
Yeah, because there's, I've been rewatching The Walking Dead, and that's all shot on film, so you can kind of almost see the grain. Is that what you mean? Like, yeah. I think there's something quite sort of romantic about.
Because it's like that vintage feel, that nostalgic feel.
Yeah.
Digressing again. But yeah, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for tuning in to the Mighty Voices podcast. Until next time, bye for now.